practice, team gathering. You know how it goes. No, we did something here. Yeah. Yep.
How's the little one? I mean,
segment on our opponents this week and any other current events, and then they can go with questions.
Yeah, this is a big week for us. Obviously, with Southern coming in tomorrow night and being an NCAA tournament team last year and picked to win their conference again this year, this is going to be a really good kind of measuring stick game for us to see where we're at against a really good quality opponent. So been prepping pretty hard for an opponent that we feel like is maybe one of the better ones, if not the best team that we've played so far this season from an athleticism standpoint, just their history, their past record, obviously all of those things. But really good team coming in, which we're excited about the opportunity to compete and another chance to get better.
and New Mexico, have you had any chance to look at them yet?
I try not to get too far ahead of the game in front of us, but New Mexico's a very good team, I can tell you that. Yeah, so two big and good quality games for us this week.
When you look at New Mexico, they've already played Texas Tech, so someone you're going to be going against.
Yep.
I mean, do you look at any of that, like how they compete against others in your conference?
Yeah, of course, we look at everything. I mean, how are they doing against another Big 12 opponent? How are they trending? I mean, you name the statistical category or the analytic, and we're looking at it. So ultimately, I mean, obviously, you got to roll the balls out and play for 40 minutes, but we look at all those things and take those things into account. But, you know, whoever they play, Texas Tech, Kansas, Baylor, it doesn't matter. They're a very, very different team than we are, but we can take some good nuggets from every game that we've seen, especially against a common opponent.
You have to convince your players that, hey, ignore Southern's record, look more at who they've played.
Yeah, 100%. That was the biggest piece of our opening meeting yesterday on Southern was you cannot look at their numbers and you cannot think that this is a team that's 1-5, 1-6, whatever they are, or they're only giving up this many offensive rebounds. You can't look at numbers. You can't look at things from a numbers perspective with this team, given the fact that they've played 5 top 25 teams already. You know, so I told them just trust us on what we're seeing with our eyes versus what we're normally going to be able to tell you about a team from a statistical standpoint, because those numbers are very skewed right now. So, you know, a month from now, what these numbers are going to look like, I could tell you very confidently what these numbers will be in a month from now when they get to playing mid-major schools and opponents that are more on their level. They've played, you know, they haven't even played just generic P4s. They've played top 25 programs. So something really important for us to note. And if I'm Southern, yeah, I told our team they've probably got this one circled, right? You're going to get your butts kicked by top 25 teams, and now you're going to have an opportunity to play a Power 4 program that's not a top 25 team yet. I think they're excited about the opportunity to come in here and play us, and I don't blame them, and we're just as excited to play them as well.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about, not just about this year's schedule, but about your overall, you know, philosophy about scheduling. Because I know this year's, there's moving parts. So do you think it's more important to gain confidence or to challenge yourself going into a season, a regular season?
Yeah, I think you have to find a balance of equal parts of challenging yourself, gaining confidence, and making sure you have the best plan in place to be an NCAA tournament team. And we've got a staff, a group of 3 people on our staff, including myself, or excluding myself, so 4 of us that are working nonstop to make sure that exact plan is executed next year. So building confidence, challenging yourself, road games, home games, net, all strength, all these things that you have to think about, and that will be put in place and executed to the best of our ability next year to make sure, at the end of the day, you need to make sure you're an NCAA tournament team, and that's the plan, and that's the goal, and that's what we'll be doing next year. But you know, credit to Michelle for being the lead on that, and Julie's helping out, and Delaney, our GA, and so we've just got a team that's doing an incredible job making sure that our schedule looks exactly the way that it wants to look. So you could have 20 teams that you want to play, then how are you what's the order of where you're playing those teams within your season? Do you want to front load it and make it really tough in the beginning? Do you want to get a couple confidence builder games in the beginning? So not only do you need to figure out what teams you want to play throughout your season in your non-conference, but you need to figure out then how do we want to order these strategically the best way possible? And then do they have those dates available? It's just so many moving parts, but the goal and the plan is to be an NCAA tournament team, and that's what we're going to do our best to do.
Reaction to the net ranking that came out yesterday, and did you talk to your players about it at all?
No reaction or surprise by me. Obviously this year I think is a very, very unique year from a lot of perspectives for us. Like I said, we're not going to be able to change that in this very moment, but what can we do in the future to make sure that we have the best plan in place and are strategic about being an NCAA tournament team? To be honest with you, I don't think our players even know what net is, right? They know we win or we lose, so nothing to dive too deep into with these guys this year. Again, we're doing our best every single game to make sure we have the best opportunity to win basketball games this year and be competitive. And then when we have more control over a lot of different things next year, we make sure that we correct some things that need to be corrected.
With Joel, her minutes have started to tick up a little bit, but I think you had said earlier in the season that her playing time is really going to be matchup oriented. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean, she's 6'7", and I love her from a matchup perspective against anybody offensively, but I'm a very defensive coach, and it's going to be a matter of, who can she guard, and she knows that, and we've had very open conversations about that, but like she said in our press conference after our last game, she knows her time is coming in the Big 12. There's 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" in the Big 12 almost every night, so we're going to need to make sure that she's ready, and we're priming her through this last stretch of the non-conference to be ready for Big 12. A lot of it has to do with matchups, but a lot of it has to do with what type of shape she's in and how good she's feeling and how she's moving, and she knows that as well.
Do you ever play anything other than man-to-man defense, or have you ever?
I have, here and there. We'll surprise somebody this year and bring it out. No, I'm not stubborn enough to say if we need to play zone, we'll play zone. I'll do whatever it takes to win, but I'm a primarily man-to-man coach, and I think when you put in a zone, whenever that is throughout your season, you always like to have one, but I think a lot of what you do in a zone comes off of your man-to-man principles and habits and how well that foundation has been formed within your man-to-man defense. A lot of that carries over to a zone. So I don't think if you have a strong man-to-man, if you don't have a strong man-to-man foundation, I don't think your zone looks very good at the end of the day either.
I know it's way, way down the line, but one of those big players that you're going to face eventually is Audie Crooks of Iowa State. She scored 43, and then she scored 47. What do you make of her as a player?
I can't think about her yet. I'll lose sleep for the next 2 months if I start thinking too much about her. I mean, I enjoy watching her. I have a tremendous amount of respect for that program and for obviously her and her skill set. And she's so good because she's got some really great players around her too. So we're gonna have to get creative in the Big 12. We're gonna junk it up. We're gonna have fun with it. We're gonna have to do some things that we need to really, really buy into and execute game plans in the Big 12 to make sure that we have the best chance for success. And that'll definitely be one of those games.
Ask you about MJ because I think she's leading you in rebounds right now. And when I looked at her Spanish national team, it didn't seem like she played a whole lot and didn't score a whole lot. But when you see her in person, her impact is bigger than that. So when you saw her, what attracted you to her as a player?
Yeah, she's big. She's got tremendous size and physicality for a guard. She's a 6-foot guard. We're trying to get 6 foot, 6'1" on the perimeter, and that's where we're headed in the future. And so I loved her frame. I loved her strength. I love that she's a lefty. I loved her ability to shoot the basketball. And since we've gotten her here, I just love the fact that she's an incredible human being. She's a great teammate, and she's so coachable. We had a game where I think it was like maybe our second exhibition game, first exhibition game, something like that. I was getting on them for just being off the ball defensively and not having their arms out and being here. Since that moment, she has not put her arms down. Yeah, and so that's just an example of what MJ. What I say, she just soaks in and just hangs on every word that I say, and that's all you could hope for is from a player. But when she decommitted where she was originally planning on going to school, I mean, we were in the running with 10 other extremely credible power force schools to get MJ, and we're just lucky enough to be able to do it. So she's a great player that's got tremendous upside, and that I feel like when you look at an MJ, a Denia, a Molly, a Cam, I mean, those are true freshmen that we're going to just continue to build around these next few years. And so it's really nice to be able to see these glimpses early of the young guns that we have here, and she's definitely one of those.
She Leads you guys in minutes, also field goal percentage. Doesn't take a lot of shots. Isn't someone that we talk about a lot.
Yeah.
Is that because she fits in to whatever you need in a given game?
Yeah. I think the fact that you don't talk about her a lot, good or bad, I mean, we want to talk about her more. I want her to take more shots. I want her to be more aggressive offensively, and I've continued to work with her on that. It's just getting her more confident, and she's a freshman. She's selfless, and she doesn't want to do things when her teammates are open. It's like she's just the ultimate team player, but we need her to score more. We need her to be more aggressive. But what I'm looking for with this team and what I've been just harping on the most, I need to know what I'm getting out of players every single day. I need consistency. I know what I'm getting out of MJ every single day. She's going to be right here. She's never too high, never too low. Great, we're going to have some games where she's up here, but I know like where that line is and what I'm getting out of her for 40 minutes every single night, which is such a breath of fresh air.
You guys have the fewest three-point attempts per game in the Big 12. Is that just the type of team that you have, or have you always been a coach who you'd rather score in the paint if you can than shoot from three?
Yeah, we've got some players that can knock it down. You've got MJ and Cam and Mickey and, Samaya can make some. I don't think we're going to be as good of a three-point shooting team this year as we will be in the coming years, but I also think when you look at the fact that we're taking the least amount of threes, we're probably top 2 or 3 in points in the paint. So I don't think both things can be true. You can't lead the league in 3-point field goal attempts and also be dominating in points in the paint, which is what we're doing. So I'll take points in the paint. I'll take high percentage shots, and we're not just good at that right now. We're dominating our opponents in points in the paint. So I'm happy that we're not settling for threes. We kind of take what's given to us and we stay aggressive and we get downhill.
Yeah, that's showing up in field goal percentage and also free throw attempts.
Correct.
Per game. I think you guys are third in that. So
Yeah. I'll take free throw attempts. I'll take points in the paint, all of those higher percentage opportunities for this team over jacking up threes any day.
How important to you are analytics?
Important. My assistants do a great job of bringing things to me that need attention. And so they're not just going to stick a packet of 100 pages in front of me and say, read through this, right? We really stick to what's the important pieces of information that not only I need as a head coach, but I need to relate to our players. And we know they can only retain so much, so we're very picky and choosy about that stuff.
You said after the last game that someone asked you about what you say at halftime. You joked that it's either like a little bit of criticism or a lot of criticism. How have you, as you've evolved as a coach, how have you kind of self-critiqued yourself about like, gosh, I need to pull back a little bit here, or I need to keep pushing? Like, how do you kind of figure out that balance?
Yeah, I'm a very self-aware person, and I always take a look in the mirror, and I always evaluate myself after every practice, every game, every meeting with a player. Like, I'm just constantly trying to be better for our team and figure out how to best coach our players. I don't think you're ever going to have a team of 12 to 15 players where you're going to feel like you did things perfectly in that day, so I'm always just constantly a work in progress, and I know that I have areas that I need to get better, and I know I have areas that I excel in, and so just taking a look in the mirror, getting feedback from our staff, getting feedback from our players. What do you need from me? Who do you need me to be for you? Give me your feedback. I'm not going to say I'm going to do it, but like how can we have a constant back and forth where I can be better for you as a head coach, both X's and O's, personality-wise? How can I coach you better? All of those things. But I'm always looking myself in the mirror and evaluating myself and kicking myself in the butt when I feel like I could have been better in a moment, and trying to give myself grace and praise when I do things well and try to continue to do those things well.
You have a standard for everybody and what you expect from each player, but do you coach each individual differently based on their personalities and so forth?
Yeah, you coach everybody different, but you coach them all fair, and that doesn't mean it's the same, and I'm a big believer in you put deposits in the bank as you the day you step foot on campus, and as you progress through our program, there's positive deposits, a great week of practice, being a great teammate, consistency, guarding well, hustle plays, like getting great grades in the classroom, never being late for breakfast at BDK. Like, all of these things are just constant deposits you can put in the bank. And so I always tell our players all the time, when it comes to our standards and our expectations and what we tolerate in this program, if your piggy bank's full of deposits and you do something that's not up to our expectations or our standards, you're probably going to get a little slap on the wrist, right? If your piggy bank has no deposits in it, you could do that same thing as somebody else did, but you have no deposits. Now it's a little bit more magnified, right? And so we're just all about that kind of like put deposits in, and then we work with you and coach you up when you make mistakes. But if you're somebody that has no deposits and you're making mistakes and doing things that don't live up to our standards, it's a little bit harder to be more lenient and have sympathy and grace in those moments. So that's something I talk to our players about all the time.
Denai, I got recognition this week. I mean, how important is that for the team to get that feedback from the outside world?
Yeah, it's huge, like I said, and to know that Denai is a true freshman that is just soaking this all in and enjoying her time here at Arizona and getting better and better and better every single day is a positive thing for us. The goal and the standard at Arizona is every week that thing comes out for there to be a block A on that graphic, right? That's the goal and the expectation here. And so to be doing it so early, I think is great. The recognition Dee got this week, Lonnie being, in the top, however, 5 or 10 in the country in assists, Mickey having great games. It's really good for our program and the recognition, and we expect the Arizona logo to be on most of those that come out, and that's what it'll be moving forward.
Okay, thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.